Dorje to everyone present here for the grammar class. So today we're going to have the final usage case of the ablative particles, which is the separating case. Previously, we have already discussed two usage cases. The first one was the ablative case. The second one was the case of the inclusive, which is the inclusive case. And we also studied the four different types of subgroup under the inclusive case. So today we're going to discuss the separating case, garwa, which means separating. So here we will understand that how each structure of separating case, what is the structure of the statement of separating case, how the structure changes, meaning in the understanding of the structure changes as we change the usage case. So before we begin our class, I will recite the verse dedicated to Mother Saraswati for the auspiciousness of our class. So one thing that you're going to witness is today's verse is quite different from the verse that we usually which is usually written, and I will tell you the difference as I recite this. So the first one is the line of dedication, that is Yum Chimo Shirap Emesha Vachatseno. So Yum Chimo means the great mother, Shirap Pema means lotus, Shab means feet, Chaksel means to prostrate. Chaksel, there are two parts, Chak, which is also the spelling of the hand. The other one is to cleanse, to clean, or to sweep. So chak means to sweep, to clean, to cleanse the negative afflicted mind in oneself, to cleanse all the faults and the impression of the faults that has been with us for the countless lifetimes. Tal means to welcome all the qualities, and here the qualities of the one that we are prostrating to. So the three gems who are one with the Guru, so Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So we prostrate to them, we cleanse our mistake and faults, and we welcome the qualities of the three gems within ourselves for the highest purpose, that is to benefit the sentient being to the greatest extent. So I'll write a little bit about this in the group, a little bit about the highest benefit to the sentient being, and what it is, and how this is, and what are the evidence that that is the highest benefit by referring to some text. Okay, so today's verse, it may sound, normally if you're used to listening to Tibetan verse, this will sound a little different from the way a normal verse sound. This may sound somewhat incomplete in between, but that is not the case. It is structured in this way so that it could fulfill another purpose. So Shirap Chema, then Shirap Chema, then Chom Shekuma, is Rup Sema, Rup Shema, Drorulam de Sambitar, Shirap Mala Chatel. So you see that unlike the normal verse that we have, unlike the verse that we have introduced in the past, this doesn't have, in a sense, a flow that those other verse had. So Shirap Chema then Chom Shiguma means, Shirap Chema means the great wisdom. Then means to possess, the one who possesses the great wisdom. Chom means the one who has defeated, or the one who has conquered over. And here the the one that is defeated is the ignorance. Shiguma means the one who possesses all the knowledge. Rabshema. It means the most excellent light that dispels all the ignorance, the one who is most excellently learned in everything. Dorulamde Sambetar, the one who shows the path to all the sentient beings to enable the liberation to all the sentient beings. Sherab Mala Chasalos, I prostrate to Mother Wisdom, or the Mother Wisdom, or Mother Saraswati. Now the purpose of writing it in this way is because now you can also read the same line in reverse and it will have a different meaning. Magun Shechom Dema Che Rabshi, which means Ma Sheku Chom Dema Che Rabshi means the great conqueror, the omniscient one, who has the most excellent wisdom. Ma Shera Ma Sel Rabhu, which means the great wisdomous light, which the great wisdomous light that dispels all ignorance. Tarpe Samde Lamrutros, which means the one who shows the path of liberation, all walks on that path. And then the last one cannot be reversed. Only the first three lines, you can read it you can read it this way, or you can read it this way. Both will have a different meaning, and both are grammatically correct. You can read it this way, and you can read it in this way, similar to this one. And each of these, if you read it from here, all of these becomes the cause. If you read it from here, all of these becomes the consequence of what has been said. And for this becomes the statement, and if you read in reverse, it becomes the reasoning. Similarly, for this, if you read it in this way, it becomes the statement, and if you read it in reverse, it becomes the reasoning. But for this, if you read it in this direction, it becomes the cause, and if you read it in this direction, it becomes the result or the product of what has been done. So here it says that shows the path to all the sentient being. If you read in reverse, it says that by showing the path of liberation, all sentient beings walk on that path. So you see that that is the result of showing the path. So these three lines can be read forward or reverse. So I wanted to try something new with the verse. So this is what I have done. The translation will be provided. I don't know how the translation would come, but I will try my best. Okay, so with this verse of dedication, let us begin today's class. So today's class is not this one. So today's class is on the separating case. So garva, which means separating. Garve jabani. Jaba, we're going to stay very much on the understanding that we only use the statement jaba or the statement. We are only going to use the terms jaba or statement here. The usage of the word sentence or tsiktu will not be done in the files as well as in this course. Garve jabani. Garshi kanshi ne garcha kanshi ki toni rigtum baam rigmitum par garve te ne tande pechu ki garwala ser. So those who are joining me for the reading class also, please observe the way I'm pronouncing each things. So garve jabani garshi kanshi ne garcha kanshi garchu kanshi ki tone rigtum baam rigmitum par garve te ne tande pechu ki garwala ser. So this is just an extra information. The particles are useful not only as functioning in particular statement, but they're also useful as indicator of taking a pause or a line or a separator. So what you do is that when you read something, the particles indicate that even if you're reading an entire line, where you must pause. So whenever you see a particle, normally you pause there, except for the cases where you see particles like this. These are the particles that stretches. So in that case, instead of pausing, you just stretch the sound and it functions quite similarly. Okay, so the statement of separation or separating case. Separating or separation case. So the statement of separating or separation case. So let me just change this to separating, because we should be using same terms to avoid misunderstanding in the future. So statement of separating case is any statement. So it's any type of statement in Tibetan. So always remember that whenever we validate a statement to be of a certain type, we always refer to the different conditions and criteria it should fulfill. So therefore, this is a separating case. So any statement in which a particular meaning a classification or a type or a subgroup of a group of separation, meaning the particular that needs to be separated, that needs to be specified, that needs to be emphasized, or that needs to be taken that needs to be isolated or taken out of a particular group to highlight it in a way, is separated from a class on the basis. So class is the group. The class is the group from which the particular is being separated from. So it is a statement, it's any statement in which we have a particular separation, means the one that needs to be separated from a class and the class. And this separation is done on the basis of the quality. So a particular quality that the particular possess is something that is unlike any of the subgroup in that particular class. That is the reason why this particular is being highlighted. So this particular from the class is being highlighted because of this quality, the specific quality. Because of this specific quality, this particular is being separated from the class. And then the particle that is used in order to separate, to specify, to make it to highlight it and make it into a particular isolated from the class is the separating particles of separating case ne and le. So we have two particles, ne and le. And if we remember the line correctly, the line states riktun kar ne mitun le. So for the separating case, we have ne and le. But now the ne and le cannot be used for every type of separating statement, because there are three different types of separating statement. So ne and le cannot be used. The ne and le cannot be used for all the three, cannot be used equally in all of the three statements. There is a certain rule that tells us. And so the rule, as we remember from the verse, it is nele chungkung gerdu te, which means these are the particle of the ablative case, and can be used in inclusive and separating case. For the ablative case, where you show that something has originated from something, in that case, you can use ne and le in whichever way you want. There is no restriction there. But now when it comes to the separating case, it says riktun kar le riktun kar ne mitun le, which means that for a particular type of separating case, meaning a subgroup of separating case, you will be using ne. For the other one, you will be using le. So you see that there is restriction of the usage. These are not independently used with any type of statement. So here the nature of statement determines which particle that we're going to use. So we will discuss this as we discuss different subgroup. So penna, for example, kado ne karbo ni kado ki yewa shiki. It means that White is a type of color. So here what we did is that we have highlighted white, and we have emphasized the fact that white is a type of color out of the class which is color. So color consists of so many different colors. Usually we have in a more in when we learn the fundamental epistemology, they say that there are two types of color, the primary and the secondary colors. And then there are different subgroup under the primary and secondary. There are 4 primary and 7 secondary colors. So white is one of the classification, one of the type of color. So here we see that white is being emphasized, white is being highlighted. Why is white being highlighted? White is being highlighted on the basis that it is a type of color. And what is the class from which the white is being emphasized from? The class is the all colors. So therefore, we see that this particular statement fulfills the criteria. What is the first criteria? It should be a case where the first criteria states that there should be this type of statement should function in showing the meaning that's a particular of separation is separated from a class on the basis of equality by the usage of the particles of separating case ne and ne. And here we see that we have the statement which does that very thing. The thing is that it separates or highlights or specifies or emphasizes on the particular separation, which is the white color, from the class, which is all colors, on the basis of quality, that is being a type of color. And this specification, this classification, this separation is done by the usage of the particle ne. So you can see that this is done by the particle nasa ne here. Okay, so this is an example. So we see that the criteria that is being stated in the definition is being fulfilled here. Now, the second criteria is is the continuative particle that we have already studied previously. So, which is the class from which the particular separation is highlighted from. Garcha, the particular of separation, the one that is being separated from the class, the one that is being highlighted or separated or specified from the class. Garchu, the quality upon which this separation is happening. Why is this particular being highlighted? The reason is because of this particular quality. It may be any quality, but one quality, one specific quality. And garwe, the particle of separating case, ne and le. So if these 4 are present there, and these 4 should be present there, not only as inferentially, but as a written. So these are compulsory. Why are these compulsory? Because these must be there written in form of words. It should be stated there. And so as it is stated there, it should be always present in a statement that will be classified as separating case statement. So in case of the usage case of the ablative particles, now in this case, it becomes the particle of separating case. We must understand that these 4 components are compulsory written in the statement. The meaning that these 4 things, these 4 terms, names, will be the very foundation of the statement. And upon that, you can write. That becomes more like we already discussed, that becomes more like decoration. For example, if we say, what is a house? There is a particular thing that must be, there are some things which must be there to make it a house. The pillars, the roof, the floor, the door, the walls. should be there in order to recognize something as a house. But then upon that, there are other things which are used as decoration. For example, a house could have a lawn, a big lawn. It could have a garden. It could have fountains. And in certain places, warm places, it could have swimming pools and other things. But these are all added upon the house. Normally, when we think about house, these won't be there. Similarly, when we talk about the separating case under the usage of ablative particles, these four things are fundamental. These are the core structure. Now you add upon this. If you want to make your statement sound more poetic, add some ornamental words. If you want it to sound more analytical, add some more words to it which are related, specifically technical terms that are related to that particular statement. Add details, add more, elaborate more. But the core structure will be this: a class, the particular to be separated, quality for separation, and particle of separating case. This is separating case. So these are compulsory. So now we see that there are three criteria. What are the three criteria for a statement to be qualified as a separating case? One, it should function in order to highlight or separate or specify a particular from the class on the basis of quality that it is being highlighted. The second criteria is that the usage of the separating case particle should be there. The third criteria is that these four compulsory components should be there as the fundamental, the foundational structure of the statement. Then you add upon it. You can add anything upon it. Okay, so now Garve Pirchu, example statement of separating case. So these are the four compulsory component. Garshi, the class from which something is being separated or highlighted from. Garcha, the particular that is being separated or highlighted. Garchu, the quality upon which, on the basis of which the separation or highlighting happens. Garvitsikte, the particles of separating case. Pirchu, example statement. Sampa means thought or intentions. Kulong is intention. Sampa is quite similar to it. It means thought. Champagne is sampa, the thought of benefiting, the altruistic mind, the altruistic intention or the thought. Chok means the best. Ne, this is the particle. So samba ne. Champagne, samba ne. Samba ne champagne ki samba ni choko. Out of all of the thoughts that one might have, the thought of benefiting others, the thought of altruistic mind is the most perfect, the most perfect thought. So we see that in our mind, we have so many different types of thoughts. And so the thought of benefiting others, the mind of in here is being specified. It is being specified. It is being made highlighted. It is being highlighted on the basis of the quality that it is the best of all the thoughts that one might have. So samba ne champagne ki samba ni choco. This is the class. Out of all the faults, ngagil, arrogance, self-centeredness, arrogance, the biggest fault. Ne is the particle. So out of all the faults that one might have, the fault of being arrogant, the fault of being egoistic, to be pompous and arrogant is the biggest fault. Okay, now the third one is gewa. Gewa is the basis of separating. Here it's more like from which you are separating from. But here, this particular type of statement is not something in which you particularly separate something in like from a group or something. It's more like showing that two things are not same, that they are contradictory, mutually exclusive or contradictory. So gewa, virtue, migewa, non-virtue, shen, other, le, the particle of separating case, gewa le migewa shen. Non-virtue is separate or different or contradictory. It's a different phenomenon. It's a separate phenomena from virtue. So here we have the examples here, and we see that all of these example statement, we have example statement, all of these example statement fulfills, all of these fulfill the criteria. First, there is separation from the class. Second, there is the separating part, the particular of separation. Third, we are able to see on which basis the separation is happening. And finally, we're able to see this particular function with the presence of all of the four compulsory components. So therefore, all of these statements are qualified as separating case statement. Okay, now we're going to discuss each of the types. So the first one, so separating. So the first one is Riktun Garve Chubani. Riktun Garve Chubani, Garshitang Garchani Riktun Bar. Garve Chene, Garve Chene, Vijaki Garshi Kashi Kim Garwala says. So, Garshitang Garchani Riktun Bar Garve Che Vijaki Garchu Kanshiki Garwala self. So, Ritun Garve Jabani, statement of separating case in which the class and the particular being of the same kind. So these are of the same kind, meaning that the particular is a subgroup of the class, in which the class and the particular are of the same kind. Meaning, for example, like in the case of white and color, both of them are color. So in similar way, the class and the particular are of same kind. And this particular type of statement is a statement in which the class and the particular being separated from the class are of the same kind, and so particular is separated from the class on the basis of a quality. The usage of by the usage of the particles of separating case ne. And now we're going to talk about why ne here. And this comes from the verse that we have already stated there. It states Riktun Karne, which means the statement of separating in which the class and particular are being of the same kind. When the class and particular are of the same kind, you must use ne. Riktun Karne. Therefore, Riktun Kar, which means the separating case in which the class and the particular, which is being separated, highlighted, are of the same case. They're not different, are of the same kind. They're not different kind, meaning they're not separate phenomena, but they're of the same kind. And not only that, the class is the particular is a subgroup of that particular, the particular is the subgroup of the class, of which it is the same kind of. And so in that statement, in which the separating happens by the usage of the particle ne on the basis of a quality. So a particular quality is being stated on the basis of which we can say that, oh, this is being separated. And if a statement has these criteria, so this is similar, it is quite similar to the general definition, but the difference is that now there is certain difference here. The difference is that first, in the general case, it is not necessary, necessary or compulsory for the class and the particular to be of the same kind. But in this case, which is of the case of separating in this particular case of the separating in which the class and particular are of the same kind, we need to have this we need to meet this criteria that states that the class and the particular that is being separated should be of the same kind. And the other thing that is contrast to the general definition is that in general definition, we can it states that the usage of ne and le, but here by the rules that is being stated in the text, we're only to use ne and not le. And the line that states this rule is riktun kar ne. The second line of this verse, nele chungkung kar du te. And then the second line states, the third line, the second line says, the third line, so for the separating case in which the class and the particular are of the same kind, in those kind of statement, only use ne. You can only use ne. Okay, so this is the definition. Now, example. Zhe Xi is the tallest out of all the students. So here we see that Zhe Xi is being emphasized, Zhe Xi is being separated, or Zhe Xi is being specified or highlighted out of all of the students. So here we see that the class is the students in the class, in this class or in the school that Zhe Xi is studying. And the particular of separation is Zhe Xi, because Zhe Xi is being highlighted or separated. And the quality upon which Zhe Xi is being highlighted or separated is being the tallest. Supu ringo means being the tallest. You may think, oh, but still, but now I have a question. I have been studying the thing in Tibetan where the superlative has the word shi, che shi, chung shi, jing shi. You have not used it here, but still you are using tallest. How can you justify this usage? And I'll say this is because here the very nature of the statement makes it so that Zhe Xi becomes a specific case upon amongst all of these. Zhe Xi becomes the specific amongst all of this, and that particular quality which makes him the specific, the highlighted particular is stated here, meaning that this quality is something that stands out within all of the class, meaning that anyone who is included in this class, in comparison to Zhe Xi, does not have this specific quality to a level where they could be separated or specified out of the class, meaning that Zhe Xi was the only one who could be separated as or highlighted from the class on the basis of this quality, meaning no other can compare to him. Therefore, it is not comparable to anyone. Therefore, it is superlative. And because of this particular reason, we don't need to use shi here. If you only say supu ringo, it means that Zhe Xi is the tallest out of here, because the quality that specifies him as a single one, which makes him singular amongst all of the other in that class, is this quality. And if that quality is not the most unique, the most singular, the most superior, or the most highlighted quality of Tashi, then he would not have been separated from the class. Someone else would have been. So therefore, if we say "录用呢这系所不认我", we don't need to use the word "是", but by just stating this, the nature of the statement makes it so that Tashi becomes the tallest. So there is no need for the use of "是" here. So if anyone would have that type, so I have cleared that. So afflicted minds are the sufferable out of all the minds. So all the different minds we have, all the different minds that we have, the virtuous or neutral, and the non-virtuous mind. The afflicted mind, the mind of affliction, is the one that is the most sufferable, meaning that brings the most suffering to a person. So here we see that the class is all the mind, virtuous, neutral, or non-virtuous mind, and the one that is being highlighted is the afflicted mind, or the affliction, mind of affliction. And the quality upon which it is being separated is the fact that it is sufferable, meaning that it brings suffering. So the quality that it has to bring the most suffering to someone who bears this kind of mind within themselves separates it from all the other mind. And then there is the usage of ne here. So let me color the screen. So we see that in this case also, it is being separated from the class. So both these statements are statement of. And then we see that in the first case, Tashi and students are of the same kind, meaning that both Tashi and students are students. In the second case, both minds and the afflicted mind are both minds, meaning they're of the same type. So this fulfills the criteria of the separating case in which the class in particular of separation are of the same kind. Okay, so Riktin gawa la ni te chotu gawa ta memba gawa. There are two types of statement. There are two types of statement of separating case in which the class in particular being of same kind. That is separation as superior and separation of inferior. One must understand now when we're talking about superior and inferior, we must understand that this has nothing to do with the class of class from which we are separating. It has nothing to do with the separation, the particular that is being separated. It is the superior and inferior refers to the quality on the basis of which the separation is done. So on which quality, on the quality on the basis of which the separation is being done, this particular quality could be a quality that pertains to a superiority, the superiority amongst the class in particular field, or it could be referring to something that is inferior amongst the class. So therefore, separation as superior and separation as inferior, meaning stating the quality which is superior and thus separating from the class, stating the quality that is inferior and thus separating it from the class. So these are the two types of separation, of separation, or the separating case in which the class in particular being of same kind. Okay, and both of these are separation in which the class and class in particular are of the same kind. Therefore, we must understand that we can only use the separating particle ne. We are not allowed to use le. Okay, choto gawe chebani garcha kangshi garshi ne garchu choki garwala sir. Okay, choto gawe chebani garcha kangshi garshi ne garchu choki, which means by the most superior quality, garwala sir is being highlighted or separated from garshi, which is the class. So gar choto garbe chubani statement of separation as superior is any statement of separating case. So it's a statement of separating case in which a particular is separated from the class on the basis of a superior quality. So now the classification is done on the basis of a superior quality. So we must understand that the classification is done on the basis of superior quality, meaning whomever we are separating, whatever we are separating from the class, that particular is being separated for its superior quality amongst everything else in the class. So this type of statement is known as separation as superior. Under the separating case, usage case of separating case in which the class in particular are being of same kind. Perna norpu kune doje phalam renda cheo. Perna norpu kune dorje phalam renda cheo. Example, diamond is the most valuable out of all the gems. So we have different precious stones. We have ruby, emerald, we have we have other things in which diamond is the most valuable. So here we see that we have separated diamond out of the class which is the gems. So out of the class which is gems, the particular which is the diamond is being separated from this class on the basis of the quality of being most valuable, having the most value. So here when we say value, we are talking about the financial value, having the monetary value, having the value as in exchange of money. So diamond is the most valuable out of all the gems. Nobu gyune doje palam rindan cheo. So we see this separation. So we see this separation, and the separation is done on the basis of superior quality here. So this type of statement is known as separation as superior statement. We see that everything is similar to the general definition of separation, separating case of class and particular being of same kind. The only difference is now we have to also pay attention to the quality. And here in this case, where separation as superior, the quality superior to what? Superior to all of the other subgroups. So in comparison to all the other subgroups, this particular quality of this particular that is being separated should be superior to all the other particulars in that class. Definitely, the other other particulars may be separated upon some other qualities. For example, some of the stone might not be the most expensive, the most valuable, but some of the stone could be the one that has been purchased the most in 1 year, or the stone which are being excavated the most each year. So therefore, definitely it could be a different particular could be highlighted on the basis of different qualities, but the very quality that is being stated here in the statement here, meaning in this statement where we are stating of being most valuable, there's no other no other particular in this class that is able to be comparable or superior to diamond. So therefore, separation as superior here. So let me highlight this. Okay, now the second type, member garbage bunny. Garcha khanshi garshi ne garche member ke gawala sirs. So here any state, so let me read this again. Member garbage bunny garcha khanshi Garshi Khan Garshi ne Garchu me ki Garwala sir. So statement of separation as inferior is any statement. So it's any statement of separating case. So it comes under the statement of separating case. Also, a separating case in which the class and particular are of the same kind. But now there is another criteria that must be fulfilled. So the more specific we go, there will be more criteria in which a particular is separated from the class. So a particular is separated from the class on the basis of inferior quality. So now we separate not because this is the one with the most superior quality in something, has a superiority in a particular quality. No, this is because one has the most inferior. It is the most inferior. It has the inferiority in a particular quality, meaning in negative quality. And this type of statement is known as separation as inferior. Perna. Shen pensum tsokpar chawdo chebar chawa kyunne kyo. Shen perna. Shen pensum tsokpar chawdo chebar chawa kyunne kyo. Meaning, example, holding jealousy for prosperity of others is the most pathetic of all action. So here we have the class as action, any action. So anything that you might do, any action, could be a physical change or a mental change, any action. All the actions is the class here. And the particular that is being separated is jealousy, to hold jealousy. So the quality which makes it the most inferior is being the most pathetic action. Holding jealousy for other people's prosperity is the action, and that action is being separated from the class, which is all action, on the basis of the most inferior quality, that is to be the most pathetic of all the action, by the usage of the separating case. So here we see that the basis of separation is negative, is inferior quality. It's a negative quality. Contrast to the first type, in which the separation is done on the basis of the most superior quality. So this statement that says Shem Pyonsum Tsokpar, which means Shem means other, Pyonsum Tsokpar means prosperity. Tsokpar means to have. Chokdo means jealousy. Chepar means holding jealousy. Chawa means action. Hu means all. Ne is the particle of separating case, and kyo means pathetic. Holding jealousy for prosperity of others, to see someone prosper and do well in something and then to hold jealousy, is the most pathetic action that someone can do out of all the action. So no matter what action that one might think is the most pathetic, this is even more pathetic than that. So therefore we see that this is being made most inferior because of the negative quality that it has. So this type of statement is a statement of separation as inferior. Okay. Garwa. Separating case. So mitumpa garwa. Tate tsum garwe chuni. Chupani. So chupani. Tate tsum garwe chupani. So tate tsum garwe chupani. Mitumpa garwa So this is the chedu, the inclusive and separating case particle hum. Mitumpa karwa hum, tate tsam karwa karve jabani garshi tang garcha rik mitumpar garchu shensam garwe te le pechu kin garwala ser mitumpa garwam tate tsam garwe chopa ni garshi tang garcha rig mitum par garchu shensam garwe te le pechu ki garwala ser. So mitum palm tate tsam garwa, separating statement of separating case of class in particular of different types to be separated on the basis of merely being different or separate phenomena from each other. So it is separated, it is being separated on the basis that these two phenomena are not one or are not of the same kind. These are separate, these are different phenomena. These are not one phenomena. Meaning that these are differentiated not on the basis of any qualities, but only the fact that they are not one phenomenon. So something that is just other than the self. So pedna hale mini shenno. The human is other than the celestial beings, meaning that they are different. They are not one, they are not same, they're different. So here we see that we are using the particle le, and this comes from this the third line. This comes from the fourth line, ne, which is the usage of ne for the separating case in which the separation is done between the class and particular of the same kind. Now, ne mitun le, mitun means where the class and the particular are not of the same kind. They are different kind, they are different case, they are different type. So they're not of the same kind. So in that case, we see that mitun le. So in those cases, you must use the particle le. So the human is other than the celestial being. Here we don't have any quality on the basis of which we're separating. The only quality that we have is that these two are not the same. That's the only thing that is the factor that separates these two, that they're not one or the same kind. They're just different. They're just two separate things. And those type of statements are known as statement of separating case of class and particulars of different types. So merely separating case or merely separating case, separating as separates, merely separating as separates, or only separating as separates. So these are that particular type of statement. Now we have studied the three different, the two types of separating case. The first one had two subgroups. The second one was only one of its kind. The first one had two subgroups. The first one was separating case in which the class and this particular are of the same kind. And the two differentiation, the two types, first one was separating, but now separating on the basis of superior quality. Second one was separation as inferior, meaning separation, but now on the basis of inferior quality, being the most inferior amongst the class in a particular field or quality. First one being superior to all the rest in the class in particular field or quality. These two are separating case in which the class and particular of the same kind. Now the second one is separating case in which the class and particular are of different kind, different types, in which the separation is done merely to say that two things are different, separate. That's it. There is no differentiation based on any quality other than the fact that these two are not one. So by this, we have covered all of the different types. We have covered all of the different types of the separating case. Okay, now we are going to discuss some notes, important notes regarding it's an extra information. regarding these two. So just it's about the different it's a different perspective. So meaning that in the case where the class and the particular are of the same kind, we must understand that the class is the it's the main group, and the particular are the different classifications. And we must know that the class and classifications are of the classification relation of 3 of kind. So we must understand. So this comes from the fundamental epistemology. It's one of the logics or analysis tool through which different analysis of the nature of things and understanding of the definition of things can be made easier, very much easier actually. So the class and classifications are, so meaning, for example, we had the white and the color. The white and the color, both of these would be of the classification relation of 3 of kind. So, for example, the color and white color is of the classification relation of the 3 of kind, meaning that the case, so there are 3 cases that can be stated there, or we can prove, or we can state 3 cases. The first case where the phenomena is color, but not white color, is a red color. Red color is a color, but it is not white color. Is the case where it can be a phenomena that is both color and white, which is the white color. And the final case is the case in which it can neither be color nor be white color, and that is the non-compound space. Non-compound space is neither color nor white color. So we must note that here there is no case in which something is white color but not a color. Therefore, this is a 3 of kind classification base and not the 4 of kind. So you can see it here, the same things here in this particular diagram, where we see that this entire thing is color, meaning that this comes under the color, and this is a particular that is white. So we see that white is included in the color, but then there are areas here, as you can see here, which is not white, but it still is color. So this is the case where it is color. In here, we will have all the particulars where it is color, but it is not white. Here, we will have all the, we'll have white, because as it is both color and both white color. And this is the area in which we see that it is neither color nor white. So the other one that must be noted is that meaning the class and particular of different type has classification relation of mutually exclusive. So those two particulars, those two things are mutually exclusive. For example, virtue and non-virtue has classification relation of mutually exclusive because they're separate, meaning that both virtue and non-virtue are different and does not have a single case of similarity. So they don't have a single case of similarities. So since there is no case in which virtue is non-virtue, meaning that both virtue and that it is both virtue as well as non-virtue, we don't have any case there where we can state that this is both virtue and non-virtue. Okay, you can see the same here, virtue and non-virtue having classification relation of mutually exclusive. This is virtue, there's non-virtue, and we can see that there is no area in which both of these are either overlapped or there is an area where we can see that it could be both virtue and non-virtue. Therefore, these are mutually exclusive. Okay, so with this, these are just 2 extra information upon this. So with this, we are done with the ablative case. Now we have the vocative case. So we have the vocative case, and then we will be done with the dependent particles. Okay, so before I read the final verse of dedication, do we have any questions regarding today's lesson? So if anyone has questions, please ask away. Okay, so it seems there is no question. Okay, then in that case, please do the revision, and then if you have any question, please ask them in the group, and I will answer them to you as soon as possible. There are some questions which were asked previously to which I could not attend till now, so I will attend to them as soon as I can attend to them. And if you have any questions regarding this as you go through the revision, if there are some things in here that you have doubts over, make sure that you ask the question either directly to me or in the group. And yes, there will be more examples on this 3 of coin, 4 of coin, mutually inclusive and mutually exclusive cases that will be provided later after the materials are made. It will be sent. So you can check it there. And if you have any questions regarding those things too, you may ask them to me directly or in the class. And then I will write later, when I can, I will write a small piece on the thing that I said, which is about the highest benefit to the sentient beings and why is it that, and what are the logical evidence of this being the highest benefit to the sentient beings. Okay, so let me recite the verse of dedication, and translation will be provided. And today is Friday, so we have a class on Sunday. Those who are joining me for the class, that is the class for the reading psychology, we will be having a class on Sunday. If anything changes, it will be informed to you a few hours before the class. And then the assignment for this will be sent in the group, or channel. So please check the assignments and then do them and then send it to me. I will send you the feedbacks on the assignments. Make sure that you're having time to do the assignments. Okay, so Gewati Newton Dasonam Sherab Hamochoni Rubdumne Sherab Ishi Veser Rubempe Sherab Timenela Kubasho. By the merits that is accumulated here, may all of us, as soon as possible, be able to achieve or be able to accomplish Mother Saraswati and to Rabdempe, and by acquiring the most excellent light of wisdom, may all of us be delivered to the stainless pure land of Vimala. So with this, we are done with the ablative case. I hope that everyone is quite clear with what these usage cases are. If there are any questions regarding these, make sure that you ask me directly or in the class. It's always more beneficial if you could ask it in the class, during the class or in the group, because there I could reach out, I could answer and reach out to all of the students, some who are not able to join us here. So that would be most appreciated and would be most beneficial. So this is it for today's class. So I hope everyone, it was beneficial to everyone. So I thank every one of you. Toshitele and those who are joining me for the reading class, I will see you all on Sunday. Those who those of you whom who have joined me for the grammar class, I'll see you on Monday. For both, I will see you on Sunday. Okay, so Tashitele and Tujiche to everyone. Lasso. Lasso, Tujiche.